It looks like both sides have worked out the budget. The Democratic legislature and the governor have agreed, albeit maybe kicking the can down the road. What do you think of the big problems the state's facing? Funds for infrastructure, funds for education. Will the process allow for that to be brought up in this budget and tackled, or is that just going to be pushed off to a future budget?
Everything's pushed off. I mean, the governor's analysis is correct, but neither he nor the legislature proposed any solutions. So we're doing nothing about higher education, nothing about K through 12, nothing about environmental protection, nothing for our transportation needs. We just sort of status quo. 94% of the budget's going to things that don't benefit anybody except retirees and debt service and so on. It's a very unfortunate budget for our children and our grandchildren.
So it's a short-term budget?
Legislature isn't tackling anything. They're playing two-hand touch.
In what way, Governor?
It's do whatever you can within the $32 billion that you're going to draw, and that's about it.
Is this a short-term budget then, do you think, Governor Byrne?
Well, it's, yeah, when you're not tackling major issues, it's a short-term budget.
Would you say that Governor Christie blinked at the threat from Senate President Steve Sweeney that he'd shut down government?
I don't think shut down government is a strategy anymore.
But did the governor blink on this issue? Because the budget does contain what was promised, the full $2.25 billion pension payment.
Yeah? Maybe he did.
I don't think the governor feels, just at this particular moment in the political history of him and of the state, that he has the political strength to do the courageous kind of things. I mean, our governor's a very practical guy, and he knows what's right. And he said what's right in his talk. He said, you got to do something. You can't just sit with the status quo. But he doesn't feel he has the strength right now to take on Sweeney in the legislature and win. So he did say one thing, which is interesting. We'll have to watch. He said, I can do some of this by executive order. Now, that's something to watch. That's what the president has said. If he can really do some of this strategies to do something about pensions, do something about these debt service, do something about health care. If he can do that by executive order, then watch, because that might make interesting.
What does that mean? How could the governor do something by executive order?
I don't know.
Give me an example.
I think I use executive order effectively, especially in the Pineland. But you can do a lot of things by executive order without asking for legislation.
Well, would you agree that no one's going to take on the issue of taxes right now? Is anybody going to utter that word during this budget cycle?
They're not going to afford to reduce taxes, and they can't muster the strength to increase taxes.
Why not? Why not
look,
an increase in taxes?
They're looking at being a rock in a hard place. They know that you cannot increase jobs in this state without lowering taxes. You're not going to get people to move in. The taxes are too high. So you need to lower them to some degree. They can't lower them because this budget is too tight, and they don't feel they can take even a temporary loss, even if it leads to a future gain.
So where do we go from here? Is it a good idea, as some have suggested, to have a bipartisan committee of experts look at the problems of the state, perhaps suggest some spending cuts, a tax increase? Is that where we should be headed?
I think we need to face the problems head on. And if we need money, we got to find money. And if find money means increasing the gasoline tax, we increase the gasoline tax.
Have we reached that point yet, Governor Kean?
I think we know what to do. We just not willing to do it. And we've got to have a governor and a legislator that faces these problems head on. We've got a governor who may be running for national office and who's got a problem now in the state, and he may feel he can't do it right now. We've got members of the legislature who think they're going to run maybe for governor, so they don't want to get out front on anything. That's a bad situation. I mean, I think the people in New Jersey got a lot of common sense. And I think somebody who really addresses the problem, somebody who really has the courage to say, this is where we are, this is what we have to do, I think will get support.
Governors, thank you very much for sharing your views on this issue.
Thank you, Ken.
Thank you.